Let me ask you something. You afraid to get your DNA tested? Welcome to Eat Your DNA. Join me as I start my healthy eating journey based on my DNA and ancestry. My name is Angela, and my philosophy is that our DNA is our blueprint to healthier living. If you ever struggle to figure out which foods to eat, you're in the right place. You could stop guessing and worrying about what to eat or trying to follow the latest fad diet. Let your genetics tell you which food you should eat. Eat your DNA. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this question. Are you afraid to get your DNA tested? Because you might be like other people wondering, when you take a DNA test, what do they do with your information? Is it safe? Will it get to the wrong hands? What kind of privacy can you expect? So before I answer this and tell you how to keep yourself safe, I want to remind you that this YouTube channel, this website, is called Eat Your DNA. It's what I believe in, what I do, how I live my own life. And the first thing I recommend people do is get their DNA tested so they can find the foods that are best for their body. So to those people out there that are afraid to get their DNA tested because of privacy concerns, I get it. The thing is, if you don't get your DNA tested, you really cannot eat your DNA. I mean, you need to do the test with a reputable company, which we're going to talk about in a moment, and find out your countries of origin. And you might think you know where you're from, but I can almost guarantee that you do not know all of your countries of origin. I was shocked by my DNA results, and almost every person I know who has taken a DNA test has been at least surprised by the results. So if you want to be able to find the best foods for you, based on your DNA and ancestry, you need to take a DNA test. Now, I'm going to tell you 5 things you can do to protect your privacy. And make sure you stay to the end where I'll tell you the number 1 thing to do to protect yourself with taking the DNA test. Now listen, the DNA testing companies know that people are worried about privacy. Everyone wants their personal data and information kept safe. And the DNA testing companies have done millions of dollars of research, trust me, and they know the barriers that stop people from taking these tests. So they do everything in their power to remove those barriers so that you'll spend your money and take their tests. It makes sense, right? So that's the good news. The not so good news is that they, whoever that is, already know who you are. I mean, if you have a driver's license or a passport, if you've been to the doctor and had lab work done, you've scrolled on a smartphone, created a social media account, bought things online, used a supermarket rewards card, they know who you are and what you do and what you like. It's scary, but it's true. There's only so much you can do to protect your information and data, but still, you gotta try to keep your personal information safe. And so here's what you can do when taking a DNA test. Number 1, opt out of sharing. Big companies like GenoPalette, AncestryDNA, and 23andMe allow you to opt in or out to share or not to share your results to be used for research. So if you do not want to share your DNA results to be used for research or anything else for that matter, you need to indicate that. You need to check the box to either opt in or out of that. Number 2, read the privacy policy. If a company is planning to sell or share your information, they will disclose it in their privacy policy. And this is also where they'll tell you how to opt in or out of sharing, like I mentioned. So if you're concerned about your personal information being sold to other companies, check the privacy policy. Okay, number 3, delete your data. On the sites that I mentioned and many others, you can get your DNA results, those countries of origin that we want so badly, and then delete all of your information and data. Just scrub it from their site. Make sure you download and copy everything first, of course, but know that if you really, really, really don't want anyone getting their hands on your data, you can delete it. I haven't done this, but who knows, I might. Number 4, use a reputable company. The big companies have more people watching them. They have more people taking their tests. Regulators are aware of them. And so they're more likely to have their privacy protocols and legal safety nets in place. Be careful of those fly-by-night companies. They can sell your data and be out of business by the time you go back and chat. 3 of the larger companies, and probably a few more, 23andMe, AncestryDNA, and MyHeritage for sure, follow guidelines from the Future of Privacy Forum's best practices for consumer genetic services. 3 of the larger companies, 23andMe, AncestryDNA, and MyHeritage, among others, follow guidelines from the Future of Privacy Forum's best practices for consumer genetic testing services, which prohibits them from sharing your DNA information with employers or insurance companies without your consent. That's pretty important to me. And now, I promised you, the number 1 thing you should do to keep your DNA results private, keep your DNA results off social media. These days, people share everything on social media. I get that, but if you're concerned about keeping your DNA results private, this is the number 1 thing you do not want to do. Your friends and your family are the only people who are going to be seeing your DNA results, but there are data brokers scouring Facebook and Instagram and whatever else looking for personal information. So don't post it for them if you don't want them to have it. So now you know the 5 steps to help protect your privacy when getting your DNA tested. Opt out of sharing, read the privacy policy, delete your data, use a well-established reputable company, and keep your DNA results off social media. So now you can feel safe when you get your DNA tested. It's the first step in finding out where you're from and giving your body the food that it craves. I absolutely love knowing where I'm from and which foods I should be eating. And that's what I want for you, to be excited about your ancestry and learning about the best foods for your body. It's fun and liberating and powerful. So check below in the description for the companies that I mentioned in this video. And if you learned something new, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to keep learning about eating based on your DNA, please subscribe and then visit eatyourdna.com. You can get a checklist of what to do while you wait for your DNA results. Good information, and it's totally free. Remember, eat your DNA.